I'm the Afro.
And I'm the I.
And we're talking about the PlayStation 5 while I have a tea somewhere.
Somewhere. That's going to take a while to find.
Well,
gives us enough time to talk.
Well, you've got beverage as well.
Yeah.
So you're all right. Yeah. So basically, we live tweeted about it. The PS5 reveal, if you're wondering what it is. I was tweeting on the Afro and the I Twitter. You were tweeting on your Twitter. And we kind of thought it'd be a good idea to look at some of our tweets because it's easier to look at them.
And also we forget things quite easily.
Exactly. So then that way we at least know what we're going to be talking about. And then we can figure it out from there, basically. And kind of like do a little bit of a little mini discussion of like some specific games and stuff that we saw.
Just throw our thoughts out into the air.
Yeah, definitely. I'll start us off with GTA 5. I was a bit whelmed. You know, not really excited, not really underwhelmed, just whelmed.
You know why that was?
I mean, I kind of had a bit of a further look into it. So it was described as expanded and enhanced. I'm guessing the enhanced is that it then works better for graphics for like the PS5, right? And then the expanded, I did a bit of a search. It looks like it was the solo DLC they were planning, but then they just put it into this game.
What about people who had season passes and stuff?
I don't think there were season passes for it originally.
Okay.
No, I think it was just like you could get shark cards and stuff. So at least you're not going to be being stolen from.
I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? Like the first game that they showed, it set it off on a note for me, because the first game that they showed is one which we've already got on another console.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just setting this trend of re-releasing. It's the Skyrim effect.
Well, I mean, it's not that. At least they're doing something with it rather than just doing what they did from PS3 to PS4, which is making online at least semi-decent and then otherwise just making everything look a bit better. I'm hoping that at least maybe for online it performs a bit better, but I'm guessing that the limiting factor is going to be your internet, isn't it?
Yeah. This is a game which has already been released once again on PS4, right? It came out previously. So the thing is, it's interesting. I wonder how many people will buy it again. But saying that, it's one of these games which has a really, really, I guess, like passionate online player base.
Yeah, and I think to actually give Rockstar credit on GTA 5, it's good that every update that they do is free, and like all of the updates add quite a lot to the online experience. Like thinking about online back when it was like relatively new, and then when the heists update came out, and like even looking at the shape of it now, there's actually a huge amount of content online that makes it even bigger than just the main story game. So to be fair, like even when I got the PS4 one, I didn't actually finish the story on PS4 just because I went straight into online and just continued my character. So I could see that happening with the PS5 version. And they're also doing a cool thing where every month you get $1 million in GTA cash until it comes out. I'm not sure how that works. I'm guessing it's just you log in on the PS4 one and then they give you $1 million in GTA cash, basically. So hopefully it takes a bit longer than the 2021 because I could do with some extra money.
You know what? One thing is I haven't really played much of the online. I barely played much of the story, but I played some of it and I've enjoyed it. But the thing that I am seeing is even with it coming out on PS4, they've released a lot of expansions and extra bits to it, and it is almost like adding eventually a new game onto the end anyway.
Yeah.
So if they just keep doing that on the PS5, it will have so much more content than it already has anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think taking into account the amount that they'll likely end up selling on the PS5, there's going to be quite a lot of extra money they can put into online development. Now on to the next game, which the Eye is going to head up this time. So tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so we got a look at a little bit of a, I guess, sequel to Spiderman.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Yes.
I mean, we all kind of, we'd seen stuff before, right? There's always been announcements about it previously, but it was nice to see it. For anyone who doesn't know, it is looking to be a sequel to the Spider-Man PS4 game, but this time with Miles taking a bit more of a front place. And you get to actually, from what it looks like, at least see him, hopefully play as him. as Miles Spiderman, which is amazing and really, really cool to see. Yeah, I'm just super excited about it because, you know, I'm a bit of a comic book nerd anyway, so it's great to see him get a bit of a spotlight in a game. But even on top of that, we've had the success of the what was it, Into the Spider-Verse, like relatively recently, and that was amazing. So hopefully, even taking kind of people who know the comics out of it, there's going to be a lot of people who are actually genuinely quite excited to see this iteration of Spider-Man in a game. And yeah, like, it didn't really see much in terms of like gameplay, but it just looked cool.
See, now from the looks of it, it looks like rather than being like a full sequel, it might be what they're calling, at least, I did like a quick search, an expandalone. So like an expansion on the original game with like extra bits that let you play as Miles Morales, or if you want to annoy all of the people, Miles Morales. Come for me.
yeah, you're like you've obviously seen some stuff about that. Like, I don't know, you might have the updated bit of information here, because I know that I'd also seen it, but I've been going back and forth all day, in fact, just seeing whether or not it is more of an expansion on maybe a remaster of the original Spider-Man brought to PS5, or whether or not it is a standalone game. It looks to me like it's settled on a standalone.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have anything different.
See, I'm not 100% sure. I think like there's most probably going to be news that will come out of it like within the later months or so on. Like, so it's likely going to just take time until we actually have a cemented idea. But regardless, it's going to be good. Because even if it is just an expansion, I can't even say just an expansion, because thinking about the DLC of the Spider-Man game on PS4, that was a lot of gameplay. Like, at least it felt like the same, but there was at least new stuff to kind of do, so it gave you a bit more direction rather than kind of just getting all of the trophies.
See, I think for me, I would be a little bit disappointed if it's a like expansion, just because I didn't actually get on with the DLC of Spider-Man as much as I did with the main game.
No.
I don't know why. It was much of kind of the same. It was just additional good stuff, and like, you know, they touched on a bit more of like Black Cat and everything, but I never got through it.
Well, maybe, to be honest, like if they're building it for the PS5 and they're pushing everything forward, I'm betting they're going to likely add some more gameplay features. I mean, they did a similar thing with GTA 5 between PS3 and PS4, so I'm assuming they're going to do some sort of stuff with Spider-Man going from PS4 to PS5, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it is a standalone game.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's time to see a non-Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Oh, definitely.
On like a full game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready for that, especially with that suit.
Yes. So there were a few kind of interesting ones after that point. I know that there's one on your mind that you probably really want to talk about, which is Cars.
Yeah,
Cars again.
Gran Turismo 7.
Just more shine? Was there more shine?
No, I'm actually going to say something that might annoy a few people, but I found Gran Turismo Sport to be a bit underwhelming and a bit disappointing.
Because you can only shine a car so much.
Shut up. I'm not sure. Have you ever played a Gran Turismo game before?
Yeah, I was good at the PlayStation 1 game, and then it got too technical and too much like real cars, and I had to sub out.
With the PS1, actually, you know what? That might actually be a good point for me to tell you why I'm disappointed. With the PS1 game, did you play just the arcade mode, or did you play the career bit of
career
it?
Where you went and bought cars, and like you could get secondhand and new and all that sort of stuff.
And that's the disappointment I had with Gran Turismo Sport.
Okay.
Because with Sport, at least from the amount that I played, it didn't really feel like I was doing that. It didn't feel like I was buying a used car, basically having it be crap, spending ages of time and money trying to then purchase a turbo to then make it decent, and then just like climbing through the ranks and getting all my licenses.
Seeing your car getting better.
Yeah, it kind of felt a lot more like an esports game, which isn't in itself a problem, but it just kind of felt like for an esports only game to be essentially a full price Gran Turismo kind of felt a little bit meh.
I thought they had dropped that whole kind of career aspect of like new and used cars and stuff for a while now, though.
No, it was only from sport. Because the only other game that didn't have anything like that was Gran Turismo on the PSP.
Okay.
But yeah, Gran Turismo 6 was the last one that actually had that career mode aspect. And then when the PS4 came out, it was like, okay, yeah, we're waiting for it. And it was Gran Turismo Sport. And I think maybe the fact that with the gameplay that they showed of 7, that it looks like they're going back to what looks like a lot more of a Gran Turismo 6 spec'd up experience. That's something that other people have felt, and it's something that they've kind of taken into account a bit more. But otherwise, like, minus the shine, it genuinely does look really good. Like, really good. Even compared to, like, Gran Turismo Sport, which I thought looked great, and Gran Turismo 6, which, for a PS3 game, legit looks like a PS4 game, in my opinion. Like, it looks good. I hope it looks even better the more that they build it, because...
Yeah.
What will hopefully happen, I mean, generally, whenever Polyphony Digital make a game for a console, instantly the games on that console start to step up a lot in terms of quality, just because I'm not sure what happens. It just seems to be the case. Like, Gran Turismo 1 came out, all of the games are cool on the PS1, then Gran Turismo 2 came out, and it's like, you got even more beastly, basically.
Well, I think it's that Gran Turismo is seen as one of the major properties for the console, and so every time they bring one out, they make sure it looks and kind of feels the nicest they can for what it is, which is a car game. Is second of all, even if you're going down the route of it being, you know, a simulator and being, you know, in that sort of sense, very, very true to life, there is only so much you can do with visuals, especially now when the difference between each console is getting thinner and thinner. And so I guess you start looking at other ways to make it kind of look or feel different. And the best thing you can do is try and make it just keep feeling more and more accurate to the real thing.
Yeah, I think what's great as well from the gameplay, we have a not even flexing, just like straight up, we have this so we can talk about it. We have a surround system, so we have like a surround sound system connected up into the television. So a lot of the times, one thing that we really enjoy a lot is sound when it comes to games. We don't really have a 4K TV at the moment. We might upgrade later, but that's the biggest thing for us, is how that sound helps us immerse us in the experience. And from the PS5 reveal, the sound of Gran Turismo 7 sounded great. Like, it sounded really good, and it was literally stereo sound from maybe what might have been okay quality audio through a YouTube video. I can only imagine what it will actually sound like with a real PS5 here, actually sending the sound as it should be to a 5-speaker system, or if you had like a different setup, or maybe if you had surround headphones or something. I could really imagine how much more immersive it would feel.
Yeah. It's definitely the sort of game where, you know what, it's not my thing because I'm terrible at it, but I do always look at it from afar and go, I wish I was good. Because if I could play those sorts of games, it would be the sort of game that I would play. It's very much like iconically one of the, you know, the ones that people will pick out and talk of when they talk of those sorts of simulator car games.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to talk about something that I kind of wish was talked about during the PS5 reveal. Backwards compatibility. That annoyed me that wasn't talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I know that every year, every time a new console comes out, or every few years, it's not every year, they don't do that. Every time a new console comes out, people are like, backwards compatibility. And you know what? It would be great because it would limit the amount of consoles we need to keep in one place for anyone. But when you actually really bring down to it, when you think of things like the PlayStation 4 and everything, it doesn't have the greatest backwards compatibility, but you kind of just get on with it. And you for me anyway, I realised that actually I don't spend much time playing the older games. I'm just playing the new stuff. And the stuff which I maybe have missed on previous consoles, it is being re-released usually onto the console which I'm then getting.
Yeah, but then, like, to give the example of Grand Theft Auto, because that's like my sort of thing, right? I would kind of have liked to see that rather than having to buy the game entirely new, you could have gone, I'm just going to bop the PS4 disc into the PS5 and have it run it as if it was a PS4 Pro, right? Or have the ability, because we have a PS4, we're going to be getting a PS5, but we don't have a PS4 Pro. So it's like, if we want to take advantage of those higher frame rates and that better lighting, the better basically everything that the PS4 Pro gives compared to the PS4, at the moment, from the no news that exists, you have to get a PS4 Pro. That's the option, you know what I mean? Whereas it would have been cool to have some sort of mention of, hey, you know, there's like an X amount of PS4 games that are going to work on PS5, and PS4 games from this date onwards will work with PS5. Because I think, especially with how I kind of think of it, what usually puts me off the most buying a game for a system is when that system's going to get replaced.
Oh yeah,
like,
100%.
Usually it's like, oh, I could get this game for the PS3, but the PS4 is coming out now, so why am I going to bother getting this game for the PS3 when there's a possibility it might be re-released, or I might just never play it because the new console will come out and I'll enjoy those games instead.
Yeah, I agree. I think once you start knowing a new console's coming out, even if you're not thinking about things being re-released and remastered, you are thinking about mentally keeping aside your money for all the new games that you're probably going to get on that new console. But one thing that I would think about is actually, if you've got a game and you're thinking, oh, it'd be great to be able to plug it into my PS5, get upscaling and get it looking nicer. Well, if you haven't already got the PS4 Pro, then to me, like for us, that game was never something which I cared about fully in the way of wanting to take advantage of something like a PS4 Pro. So I'm not really going to care too much about missing out on being able to have that experience on the PS5. I'll just play it on the PS4, and then all the new games for the PS5, I'll get to take advantage of all that lovely new hardware. The thing is as well, is you've got to think about potentially architectures of like PS5, whether or not the more backwards compatible you make it, you might have limitations on how beautiful the new games can look. And I'd rather have that.
I mean, I kind of get that, but then, you know, like emulation in general has gotten to a point where it's quite advanced. I would assume that by now they'd be able to emulate at least some of their previous consoles on something like the PS5, if it's as powerful as they're saying, if not straight out of the gates at a later date, right? Like, I kind of sound like a bit of one of those like, oh, just do it, and it's really easy and stuff. There might actually be complications that I don't know exist, right? But it's kind of hard to like see it from the perspective of it can't be done when, for example, with the PS3, the first generation PS3, the 60 gig, and I think the first 80 gig did backwards compatibility with the PS2 and PS1, and then it was taken out later on, right? And I know with some of them, they actually had the PS2 chip in, but with the 60 gig like I have, that just uses software emulation. So they've done it before, and the PS3 was still able to look like kick-ass. So I don't see why they can't do it, especially now that they're on a generation like the PS5 where they're saying it's going to be as powerful as it is, right?
Yeah, I think what I would prefer is maybe an expansion of the PlayStation Store in terms of PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, because I find myself going onto the store on occasions and looking for very particular PlayStation 1 mainly, but sometimes PlayStation 2 games which I would really like to play and don't really have the console set up to help play those things. And if that was, you know, if there was a broader catalogue, then I would maybe be more willing to even pay like a small fee to almost repurchase that game or purchase it for the first time and be able to play that on the PS5. Obviously not upscaled or anything like that, but just have that old catalogue but expanded, because they've got a lot of games which are missing from it.
Yeah.
And that to me is, I'm more likely to want to go back and play those sort of games, because when it comes down to it, I'll either want to play a modern game or something that feels nostalgic, and anything modern is probably going to be something which can be met with a PS5 new release, because it's going to be all shiny and fantastic and I'll get excited over it.
Like the Ratchet & Clank one.
Yeah, like that sort of stuff. And anything that doesn't hit that will probably be satisfied with something old school.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know. I'm still... I think that's a bigger thing, though, to be fair, is the library available. Because on the PS4, at least, there's there's a few PS2 and PS1 games, as you said, that are quite cool, but the library doesn't necessarily span everything that exists that would be seen as a classic. At least I know a lot of the classics that I have on PS1 only work on the PS3 or the PSP, or surprisingly the PS Vita.
Yeah.
Which I had to get a new cable for because, of course, like proprietary.
And even then, the catalogue isn't huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you've got your choice of a few select things.
Exactly, yeah.
So that would be what I would want.
I think we've got time for one more thing to talk about. Should we... why have I got a tweet that says Chicken Little Simulator 2021?
That could be related to so many different things.
Oh, wait, that's that Pragmata game. Okay, sweet.
Oh, that's that.
Yeah, you remember that?
No.
Okay, sweet. Let me explain it to you. It was basically a game that was... How do I explain it? You know Gravity, the film Gravity?
Oh, was it the one with a cat in it?
Yeah, the second cat.
The second cat. The digital cat.
The digital cat. Yeah, the fake... Actually, why are we talking about this when there's the cat? Which one had the cat in it?
There's the two cats.
Oh, wait, that was Stray.
The Stray, yeah.
So Pragmata versus Stray, which one has the better cat? I think it's going to be...
Stray.
Yes.
Because that seems to currently be a game all about cats. And I'm all about cats.
It's about cats and robots, right?
Yeah, but like the trailer is showing you following the cat. It seems to say to me that the cat is pretty important.
Hopefully.
This is
maybe
the PlayStation 5 is the console for animals. It's for animal-based game console.
So basically what you're saying is that with the combination of Pragmata and Stray, Nintendo need to get some Nintendogs going on, or else they're kind of going to end up losing their edge on the pet game category.
Yeah, it's digital cat futuristic simulator. It's amazing. But the thing is with those as well, like, I can get excited over the fact there's cats and everything in them and robots, and like the stylization is very cool. But it's one of those things where I can't get super excited yet because I don't really know anything about the games. Like, I don't know what gameplay is going to be like.
Yeah.
I just have a bit of a worldview. And at the moment, a lot of games are going towards this very futuristic feel, which is cool, but I'm a little bit aware already that we might hit futuristic gaming fatigue.
In fact, speaking of gaming fatigue, I don't think those two games will give us gaming fatigue, but you know what will? Godfall.
Which one was... Oh, wait, yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Literally from saying gaming fatigue, isn't it?
Wasn't that the multiplayer looking, like, fighting one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really... It reminded me of For Honor.
A bit. I mean, for me, it just kind of literally looked like Warframe, but just with a different viewing angle.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look... It's not even that it looks bad. It's just that graphically... Even looking at what they've done with like the PS5 pre-rendered, it looks like something that I've seen already, and it looks like games, multiple, that I've played already, and it just kind of doesn't seem that cool in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, maybe I would try it out if it was free to play or if it was like relatively cheap, but I doubt it will be free to play or relatively cheap. I have a feeling it's going to be like mid to full price game. And it doesn't look like the gameplay is hugely deep outside of you can upgrade your equipment. I mean, for the sake of that, I'd much rather play something like Monster Hunter, which focuses a lot on online, right? But at very least has a bit more going on with single player as well, and has a level of uniqueness to it in its specific way of gameplay.
It looks like it's very online based, and that gives me two concerns. One, you may need to have friends, which is always a problem for this sort of thing.
And specifically friends that have purchased Godfall.
Yeah, and two, that it might be online worldwide, in which case the difficulty level when you go online and everybody else is amazingly great because they spent loads of time and you rock up and then you're immediately dead.
And you know what would be even like worse? If it was an always online game.
Yeah.
That would actually, in my opinion, kind of put the nail in the coffin for it. Like, if it was basically an online only experience, or at least it was only good online experience, and then it was also an always online game that needed to always be online, so that was the main way you experienced it, it would just kind of feel like, well, what's the point, to be honest? Yeah. It's
not my sort of thing.
Yeah.
It didn't really jump out. Like, I'm gonna stick to probably all these kind of big releases that they're talking about. I'm really holding out that they're going to say something at some stage about Beyond Good and Evil. I really wanted that to crop up and it didn't. So I'm just going to stick to, what is it, that, like, Kenna Bridge of Spirits? That one.
Yeah.
That was like a little indie-looking sort of game. Cool little protagonist, little cute things that you seem to command around for puzzles.
Oh, that's the thing that has the little Spirited Away things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That looked very cute.
Great.
And the action and stuff looked really fluid on it as well. So it looked really like almost you would press buttons and you feel powerful and it wouldn't feel too difficult.
Yeah.
And all of those sort of things appeal to me. So I'm keeping an eye out for that one.
Straight up, yeah. No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think that's our sort of thoughts on the PS5 reveal. If you're listening to this on podcasts, I know we've been away for a long time. This is a special. I'm not sure whether we're thinking of doing any other podcasty things unless other big things come up about the PS5 specifically.
But you can find loads of us on YouTube. So if you don't know already, go over there because we're all over it.
Absolutely. We are hugely active on YouTube. If you search Afro in the Eye, you will find us now because we hit 100 subscribers I think it was like a few months back. So we got a custom URL which says Afro in the Eye in it. But you can also use any of the short links and that will work as well.
And we've actually recently completed our first game or so. Two, I think.
We've completed 2.
So you've got a couple of complete series to go and watch.
Yeah,
you haven't already.
Yeah, so you should definitely check that out. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and like, and also do the little bell thing next to the subscribe if you want to keep up to date with our stuff. We do varied stuff at the moment, but all of it is around gameplay. So it's usually either we play varied games or we do some very strange challenges, or sometimes we do reviews. At the moment we've done a couple of reviews on 51 worldwide games and stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye.
Bye.